Okay, today we are working on a Payne furnace. This furnace is, by the serial number, I would say it's from, you can't really see that, can you? I'd say 2001. It's the first four of the serial number are 4301, so I'd say 43rd week of 2001. There's the cover. And a Payne is manufactured by ICP, so this furnace will look similar to a Bryant or a Carrier of the same product line. It's basically the same furnace. I'm sure Bryant and Carrier dealers will say something different, but whatever. So I already know there's a bad igniter, but we're just going to go through the regular diagnostic so that you guys see why I came up with that. So we're going to turn it on. The blower may or may not run for a few minutes. No, we're just going to get inducer right away. And now the inducer should activate the pressure switch. We should get the igniter inside, and then we'll get gas. So we're just listening. I heard a slight click. That's the igniter relay. And so far, we're not seeing any orange glow in our sight glass. I'm just going to take this off so we got a better view. I already took the screws out. So now we should be seeing it glow right now. Now we just heard the gas valve click on. I know the clicks are kind of hard to hear. Bear with me. So when I don't see that igniter light, I'm curious, do we have a bad board where we're not getting any voltage to the igniter, or do we have a bad igniter? So we're going to take our igniter plug. There's our gas valve. I'm sorry about the motion. We're going to take our igniter plug. This is coming from the control valve, or the control board. We're going to stick our two terminals in, or our two probes in the thing. There we go. And you're seeing that we're reading 4.9 volt. Turn that light on so you can see it better. So during the process, we should see 124 volt or 120 volts on that. If we do, then we know we have a bad igniter. There we go. We have 120 volts. So that igniter should have lit up earlier, but it did not. Now we can double verify by actually using gas to get the thing fired up. So we'll just listen for that valve, and then we'll use the torch. And there you go. So it did not ignite on its own, but it does stay lit. So we know we need a new igniter. The igniter on these units is a pain in the butt to get out. It is actually back here. You can see it right there, that little black horseshoe thing. So what we're actually going to do, we'll shut this off so it doesn't get too hot. We're going to remove the entire burn chamber, and the gas valve and the manifold are going to come with it. So we're going to remove that guy, and then there's screws all the way along this burn chamber here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unscrew the top flap right there. Sorry, I'm kind of in a tight room. I can't lean back. So we're going to unscrew that flap so that we can get to the screws that are on the top. You're going to need at least like a 12-inch bit extension. So here we go. Here's a screw. And I don't have a screw on this side, so now you can see those right in there. So those are accessible. The other ones that are tricky to get to is there are some behind this black guy here. So we're just going to unscrew him. So we're going to unscrew him by going right here. So now we're disconnected from the PVC, and we're going to unscrew these two. Now we can pop that free with a flat head screwdriver of some sort. You're just going to reach in here, and there's kind of some adhesive. Try to kind of do it all the way around. It's harder than I thought with just one hand. Okay, so I kind of pried it with the little one. Now we'll use the big one. And we're just going to try to separate that. It's not a perfect science. You're going to separate it, and then there's kind of these claws in the back. You just need to wiggle it and just kind of get it. Okay, I have the black thing free, so now I can sort of wiggle it around as I'm getting to those screws. And I'm just going to go all the way around all the way around that. I just want to show you, I did loosen this up. At this stage, I could get to that igniter. However, these igniters are super fragile, so I'm just going to show you how to remove this still. And I mean, you can wing it if you want and try to do that, but we don't want to break the one we got that's brand new. So, okay, we got that loose. You can see it's just kind of sitting there freewheely. The only other thing we need to disconnect is this and maybe a few wires, but we'll see. So we're going to crack that union. Okay, so our chamber is now free. We'll just pick him out of there. There are some wires that are still attached. Now we have access. Now we have access to the whole thing. When you see on our igniter, there's a little break there. That's why we're not getting ignition. While we're in here, we can check our burner tubes. If any of them need cleaning, and including the flame sensor, if that needs cleaning, we can do it all right here. These guys are a lot easier to put in when you're not struggling to get it in somewhere. I have super easy access on the back side of this, so I can just pull it out, put a new one in, make sure it's seated properly, and go from there. On this particular unit, there's a little bracket that the igniter sits in. I'll transfer it over to the new one. I just wanted to show you. Here's the old one. You can see the break right there. It doesn't take much. Voltage goes through this thing from one side to the other. And if there's any sort of breach like that, it won't get there and this thing won't get hot. So we're going to replace him with that and then keep this bracket thing. And this gasket is just fine still. The one other gasket to consider is there is that fiberglass one back there that the burner chamber sits on, that the burn chamber sits on, sorry. That thing, we want to try to keep that intact, so try to keep it up there if you can, and don't wreck it. Okay, we can see we have our igniter installed, burner tubes look good, and that's a new flame sensor that the customer actually installed himself. So there we go, and now we will put everything back the way it was. Okay, we are fully reassembled. We are going to attempt ignition. Maybe. There we go. Inducer. Now the pressure switch should get satisfied. We'll see the igniter. And then hopefully we'll see some gas. Perfect. There's our new igniter starting to glow. Just how we like it. And there's our flame. So we're just going to shut this compartment up, put the cover back on, and get out of here.